a change in the factors influencing buyer behaviors? You have talked a little bit around it, but if you can talk a little more. And if you see changes in these factors, how are your sellers coping with this change? What needs attention? What needs improvement? Over to you, Ram.
Yeah. So before I answer the question, let me just deviate a little and tell you how the user and the business behavior is changing in the current context. And let me cite some two examples before I take an example specific to the context of our organization. Let me give you an example. We have, in Bangalore, there's an area by name Brigade Road where you have the best of the brands and the extravagant shopping there on the Brigade Road. Now, these were very lavish and expensive brands. Now, today, in the last 4 months, with less of footfalls, these today, with huge amount of rents, these shops are virtually shut down. And what we're doing is virtually through selling through digital channels. If they have to promote a product, they have a small place in a mall that they're trying to use that to promote. The rest of the time, all the back-end operations are trying to be done through channel and they promote it. So there's a complete behavior change in the business and in the user. Let me take another example before I come to the point. Today, gone were the days when people had to go and buy a car. They used to go to the showroom. They used to see the car. They used to have touch, feel, and they used to buy a car. Today, you are discouraged to come to the showroom. So there is the digitalizations has promoted so much so that the showroom owners today, what they do is that they give you a flexibility to log in through your Zoom or through any digital mechanism, and you are able to actually, apart from touch and feel, you're able to get a complete view of the car, a 360-degree dimensions of what the car is and the functionalities and features are. The point that I want to drive home is both the business behavior is changing and the user behavior is changing significantly. So now if I have to correlate this in the context of the IT organization that we are into and the buyer behavior and the user behavior, today you don't have a luxury to go and meet the customer because he discourages to meet you. So you have challenges to meet in person. You only have possibility to engage with him on virtual. So this actually poses the organization to think innovatively and completely out of the box. So there are two things. One, so you look at how do you engage with the customer innovatively, use digital as a medium to engage far more effectively and communicate effectively the messaging that you want to do. You look at areas like webinar, you look at a roundtable conference to drive home the theme or to drive home the demand. So use more of digital channels, think innovatively to drive. That's one. The second thing is basically look at the conventional selling when you were to go and meet the customer face-to-face. You had a broader window, you had about time hour, about 1 hour slot. You have a broader space and then you could pace your conversation well. But when it comes to virtual, as you rightly use some interesting insights to work, your challenges are different because the time window that you have with the customer now is narrowed down. It's about just 15, 20 minutes. His attention span is less. You need to be more adequately prepared. You need to be more sharp, more crisp. You need to communicate effectively the message that you want to in lesser words. And that's the biggest challenge that you have today in terms of virtual selling. Nobody was prepared. Nobody was even believing to accept that we would all be faced with such a large pandemic and the kind of magnitude it had hit us. But then we are all evolving. We are all learning the amount of magnitude it had hit us. But then we are all evolving and we are all turning to learn the new skill and the art. I think every organization is inventing and learning through every single day, and we are no different. We are also educating our sellers in the current scheme as to how to prepare themselves, how to adequately convey crisp messages in the shortest time. We are orienting them so that they are far more effective in communicating the value proposition to the customer in the shortest time. So that's the fundamental shift we see, and that's the change that we're trying to bring in the behavior. The business's behavior is changing. We also see correspondingly the user behavior changing, and therefore, how do you drive home the message so that you align with the consumer expectations and you're able to deliver your message and articulate the value. So that's what is the biggest challenge in front of us. And I don't say that we have mastered it. We are learning it every day, and we are evolving. And I'm sure that with this new normal going to be the de facto way of life for long, we should be able to master this act.